Happy Martin Luther King Day, my friends. I have been teaching my second graders a lot about him. He is really, really, really significant to me. In fact, I'm not allowed to show media in my classroom. And so I had looked up a YouTube about his speech, and I cried quite a bit. I really, really couldn't watch very much of it because I just was like crying quite a bit in his speech at the National Monument. I believe it was in the year 1963. And so today is a significant day to me. However, in my workaholic self, which I tend to be kind of a workaholic, I've like always got something going on. Except I have to tell you guys, I got a year of Disney Plus for free because I have unlimited data on my Verizon, and I have been watching The Mandalorian, and I have to tell you, I'm so in love with this show. I mean, mostly the baby Yoda. I just cannot get enough of this little character. He's like the cutest thing I've ever seen. But also the Mandalorian. Could he be more like cool? I just love this guy. Anyway, so I've been enjoying that, but that has been later in the evening when I have completed my daily tasks. But anyway, I am getting ready to go into my classroom and do some changes because we have school back tomorrow. But I wanted to share with you guys some updates. I've had some kind of weird stuff going on. I had talked in my previous videos about the idea of how things really are as opposed to how we see them. Like I had shared the idea that when a log falls in a forest, it really doesn't make a sound unless there is a receptor there to hear it. It will make the vibration, but it actually won't make a sound unless there is something to actually hear it. And I believe it's the same way somehow. I don't quite understand it all, but I believe it's the same way with what we see. I haven't quite figured this out yet. But because like yesterday I had gone for my hike and I was looking out and I was like, how could all of this like actually disappear when I close my eyes? Like how could it actually not be there objectively, some objective sense of reality? But even as I'm saying that, everybody is in their own subjective reality. So I'm just going to sort of get off of that. But I've had like these really weird things happening. So in the study of Martin Luther King, I had gone with my son to share with them that it was 100 years between the Emancipation Proclamation that President Abraham Lincoln had signed and when he spoke at the National Monument. 100 years, which seems like a long time. And yes, there had been changes, but clearly not enough. Clearly, in 100 years, there hadn't been enough changes, I should say. And so I was talking to my son about this, and he said, oh, well, Mom, it didn't really change that much until oh my gosh, in the Constitution, until the amendments in the Constitution. So I wanted to share that with my students. So my son had very, very, very kindly, he had gone to the country's capital in Washington, D.C. a few years ago, and he brought me back a Constitution. He had brought me back this little, you could actually almost put it in your pocket, Constitution. And so I'm looking for it. I cannot find it. So I'm like scouring my whole, all over the place. I cannot find this thing. I'm like, what did I do with it? I just could not find it. And then finally, I was looking in my books. So some of my books I had taken from my bedroom into my living room where my actual bookshelf is, and I had pulled out one. Actually, it was a Thich Nhat Hanh book about power. I'm not sure of the official name. I pull it out, and my Constitution had book had slipped into it, and so I could not see it. And it just seemed really astounding to me that I was able to actually find it. I was feeling really good about that. I just was so happy that I was able to find it. Um, and so the other day, I just have this thought. I don't know. I've been really cleaning, like nesting a lot. I don't know what's going on with me, y'all, and I'm going through all my pencils and I'm trying to sharpen them. And I needed a sharpener for a bigger pencil, and I could not find one. And I looked in a drawer and I did not see one. And then I go and I'm doing something else. I come back, I open the drawer, and there it is. There it is. And so the question is, I mean, like in plain sight. And so, and then I had this other thought. So I was thinking that I really wanted this tool for my teeth. I wanted this tool for my teeth. It's like a tiny, tiny little brush, and you use it on your teeth. And so I'm cleaning my bathroom, like I'm on my hands and knees, and I'm like scrubbing the floor and this and that. And I look down, and damned if there isn't one sitting there. So I had thought about it maybe 2 minutes earlier. I looked down, and there it is. So I remember throughout my life, I had this theory, or I believed without question that I have everything that I want and need. However, sometimes I cannot see it. Because what I started to notice was that when I was trying to find it, and I was like kind of in angst trying to find it, I couldn't see it. And then later it would just be there. And so a lot of times it's there for us, but we actually cannot see it in that given moment. And so these things are actually starting to happen, which is like the coolest thing ever. Okay, so I'm really, really excited because I share with you guys that this is the year that I am going to start really, really acting on my beliefs that this is the year where I am mastering these things at a better rate and a better speed and a happier place and whatever. So I have signed up. I am going in June to a conference. I have another thing that I would like to go to in September, but I have signed up already, and I'm paying cash to go to an event. I have my Airbnb. I have actually signed up for the event, and then now all I need is my flight. And next weekend I'm going to get that arranged. But in the process of that, y'all, I have to get my passport updated because I've had a name change in the last year and a half, and so I have to get my passport updated because my passport is in my old name. And so I went scouring through my house to find the unfortunate court document that has my official, like, that I can change my name. And I actually could not technically find it yet. It's another thing. It just seems to be lost. But I'm going through all these things about that particular event in my life, and I'm like tanking. I'm just way going downhill. And so I end up just saying, okay, well, here's where I'm at right now. But it wasn't that long before I was able to like really change that around and to go in a positive direction. I was so happy that it didn't take very long. And then while I was watching The Mandalorian, my daughter is like, she is Snapchatting me. And she's Snapchatting me all these really sweet things. Like like, you're the best mom I could ever ask for. You're really fun to be with. Like, all these, like, I'm like, where is this coming from? But I was so appreciative. I was so appreciative. And so basically, I'm I am setting off on the course of my dreams and I'm staying in a happier place for longer periods of time, even in adversity. And life is actually going really well. So I am demonstrating that these work, these concepts work, they work, they work, they work. And this is the year where I am going to be learning how to master them. How to master them. And then I'm going to be learning how to master other things. So I don't know. It's just so exciting. And I'm so happy. And I'm so appreciative of you guys, my YouTube friends, and I appreciate you so much. I love you, and I will be back.